Liuver, how you doing?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Hey, we're live. We're live. Let me check this thing out. It's been a minute since I've used this StreamYard Live function. Been doing all this live in the community, but so some of the changes. I don't know how much lives you do. So some of the changes that they have with live streams is you can't go live in your Facebook group anymore. So it's kind of a bummer. I'm going to share this into the group right now. I'll make sure the group can see. Boom, got you tagged. Welcome, welcome. Hey, if you're watching this live, leave some love. Leave some love in the chat. Let us know who's watching. Want to know where you're from, what your real estate experience is. We're gonna have some fun. So, got my buddy here, Liuver Sanudo. Did I get that right? Sanudo.
Yes. No one gets it the first time. No one gets it right the first time.
Yeah, well, truth be told,
you did a great job.
All right, so welcome to the show. So what I've been doing here in the deal room, we've been breaking down live deals because the market's tough right now. Like you're out there in the market, it's been a weird market these last several years. Coming off the roller coaster highs of COVID, and it's been challenging. But people are still doing deals. There's people doing deals every single day. They're doing cash deals. People are doing creative deals. People are doing a mix of cash and creative deals, JV deals, wholesale deals, flip deals, rentals. Like there's all kinds of deals going on. You do have to be a little bit more creative, depending on the type of deal to get them done. But deals are being done. So I like to do this kind of event just to break down the case studies and break down the numbers, break down the whole thing, like how you found the deal, what'd you end up doing with it, what was that exit strategy, how did the rehab go if you decided to flip it, how did the rentals number work, and that's what we're going to do here. So if you're just tuning in, welcome to the deal room. Got my buddy Liuver here. We're going to be breaking down a flip that he made around $70,000 in gross profit. We're going to in this market. So we're going to break down those numbers. And before we kick it off, if you're watching live, let me know in the chat. Just comment like where you're from, what your real estate experience is. This is going to be an interactive thing, and as I'm able to, I'm gonna glance over and try to get into some of the comments. But so Liuver, as we're starting out, before you got into real estate, I love your background, I love your story. Like, what were you doing? Like before real estate came into the picture, how long ago was that, and what were you doing?
Okay, so I have to say that I'm a Cuban immigrant. That I just got here like 9 years ago, right? I got a long time, but sometimes it looks like a short time. 9 years ago, I came from Cuba, but I'm a former software engineer. So I came to the States to work as a W-2, right? I always wanted to do more. So that's why I never wanted to just be like a, high-paid W-2 guy, professional. I think that's why I kind of got into real estate.
So you came over 9 years ago. Did you like move right into real estate, or like how did real estate?
No, I got into real estate like 5 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago, buying my first rental on the market. Actually, that was with the FHA. But I always had that in my mind.
What was your job before that?
Software engineer, UX designer. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm the guy who designs the website to make it look nice, but also smooth, right? The user experience.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why my brain works. It's like my brain works like I need for everyone to feel good with me, because
the experience. You're all about the experience. So, how did real estate come in? Like, what introduced you to real estate?
I guess that even from Cuba, I remember that I saw a video, actually a CD from a CD. Back then, we didn't have a lot of connectivity in Cuba. I saw a CD from Robert Kiyosaki, 60 Minutes to Become Rich. He was explaining, the cash flow quadrant, employee, auto employee, business owner, and then investor.
Yep.
So I came here even with that on the back of my mind. And by just sharing out there that I wanted to get into real estate, actually one of my peers in HP, one of my first job, had a friend who was a real estate agent, but like us, let's say agent slash investor, and he was investing already. So through connections, I got my first mentor
All
in the
right, all
field.
right. So you're out there. You're actively seeking. You're actively seeking information and networking. You were able to find and connect with someone who knew the business. And did that immediately? Like, did they help you get into your first deal, or how did that work?
Yeah, they literally told me, "Hey, you can get your first deal with using your FHA," and I was even that was my first year on a W-2 in the States. So I kind of like play my cards there, and yeah, I got the loan, FHA. I even took some money, OPM. I know that we're gonna talk about OPM, other people's money. I took some OPM from my credit cards. I remember I had to put like $14,000 at closing. Yeah, I had some money saved, like 10K, and the other four I took it from my credit cards.
Yeah, yeah. And so Brant, he tells that story. He put his first deal on his credit card, and it's something that, hey, I'm not recommending that you do. It's something that people do.
Hmm.
So it can be done. Obviously, with any kind of debt, you want to use that cautiously. So, same thing with Jamie and I too. We haven't really told the story a lot, but several of our early deals together were no money down deals, but we use hard money, and hard money wants you to have cash reserves. And where do
Yep.
those cash reserves come from? They came from, in my case, a line of credit. So we had a line of credit that we were able to tap into that basically made it a no money down deal. So you get this deal. Now, this was a rental property, right?
Yes, and again, going back to your question, he literally guided me. Hey, let me help you buy this property. I think that that's kind of my mindset. I have always been like that. It's like, okay, if I see that you know and you have what I want, I will do without questioning whatever you tell me to do. It's like, okay, guide me, and I flow. I go with the flow. Like he
Love it. Love
literally
it.
did that with me.
Yeah. I mean, because they've been there. And I did the same thing. I kind of jokingly say, keep in mind, this is a joke. Sometimes I have dry humor. But I jokingly say, like, I was dumb enough to believe, like, I took this weekend boot camp, paid like $1,500 because before that I had no idea. I was like calling I was calling these people, and I was probably being laughed at, so I had no idea. So I took this, paid $1,500 on a credit card, and I just like I was dumb enough to believe everything he said, and I'm just like, look, if it's true, I'm just gonna do it, and ended up wholesaling, getting that $15,000 wholesale deal, like 90 days later. So, but getting into that first deal, so you had the mentor, but you had to still been a little nervous because you haven't experienced owning a deal yet. So what was that like going into the deal? How did you feel?
Uh, Bro, like literally, again, my mindset was okay, guide me. I felt that I had someone holding my hand. Yeah, a little bit nervous, but again, that's a good thing that I will say that coming from a place where you have nothing, it's like, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen? I came back to nothing. That's fine. I can go up again. So yes, trusting the guy, of course, but at the same time, just taking the risk. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. So
that's a mix. It was a mix between those two.
yeah, and you also you have that perspective of where you came from too. So that
Correct.
blind faith, I love it. Did going through that whole first deal, did you start? Did you ever start second guessing yourself? Like, I don't know if this was the right move, or did that blind faith, with the help of your mentor, really keep you going and see it through?
Yeah, I think that I never had second thoughts because I saw him doing it. So he took me at that time. He had like three properties. Actually, one fourplex using his FHA, and then two small deals. So I saw him in person, right? I touched with my hands. I went to his properties. I actually helped him one weekend to on a rehab. So I knew that that was true. And at the end of the day, just getting my first asset. I didn't knew what I was getting on. I was after that I was on negative cash flow for 2 years because I hired a property manager. All right, again, I was Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
reading Kiyosaki's books. But again, that was a great learning lesson. And
Awesome.
after
Awesome.
that, I learned that deal taught me a lot. I learned a lot from that deal.
Well, it's and you always do on the first deal, because there's you have your mentor, you have education. That's only going to get you so far. At the end, at some point, you got to play the game, and that's when you get the street lesson. So, all right, well, let's move to this deal right here. This is a deal you bought recently, flipped recently. It seems like a nice standard standard house you'd flip. Walking into the entryway, looks like that front door has been beat up quite a bit. Got some old tile, and look at that bedroom. That's got a lot to offer, right? Do you remember what was going on in that picture there?
No, I just can tell you that the house was vacant for like 10 years. They had it vacant like everywhere.
Here's another picture too. You can tell no one's been here for a little while.
Yeah, that was I think an house that the daughter inherited the house. Like they were trying to sell it for off market, like for a couple of years, but without information. So that deal came from a referral from a friend.
Okay.
So that's why we got it at a really good price.
All right. So they inherited the property, and you're big on networking. Like that's you're a phenomenal networker, and you get a lot of deals that way. So in your network, and this is something that takes time. I mean, you're not just going to step out tomorrow and get this home run deal, but if you network and you're diligent, you can get good deals. So your network, they bring you this deal, and they just say, "Hey, did they talk to the owner, or they just said, "Hey, you might want to look at this," and let you handle the whole thing?
So at the end of the day, I JV with that person, and that's kind of one of my strategies is that I am the operator. I present myself as the guy with experience, so people bring me the deal. Sometimes just to get a wholesale fee, so they sell me the deal, or sometimes they bring me a really good deal and they just want to JV with me. So that's one of my exit strategies or my strategies, right? So the guy came with the referral, but I helped him close. It was a family friend, my JV partner.
Okay.
So it was like.
Were there any red flags when you were looking at it? You were like, not really sure.
No, it was such a good price that I'm literally. I know now my numbers, right? I've done this so many times that I know my numbers on the rehab. Even the worst case scenarios like this one, we went over budget like for $15K. But that's the beauty of if you buy right, you know that you can make mistakes. You're gonna make money. Yes or yes.
Yeah. And you hinted on something that I always tell folks, like, just swing the bat. Yeah. And when you do that long enough, even early on, like when a home run deal, when the right pitch, speaking of baseball terms with the World Series just ending, when the right pitch comes, like, you know it. Mm-hmm. And you can feel very comfortable swinging the bat because you've looked at a lot of deals, you've analyzed a lot of deals, you've made a lot of offers, this is it. So you see a home run here, make an offer. Did you end up doing creative financing on this one, or hard money, or private money?
No, pure cash. They needed the money, so this was like straight cash. We brought a hard money lender and a private money lender to cover the gap. So basically, hard money lender funded like 85% of the deal, all in. We raised the capital for the other 15% and closing costs.
Okay. And what was the price point on this one? The purchase price?
So we bought it for 70, and we put like 75. I remember between all in we were 150 in the deal.
Okay. Yes. With closing costs. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm gonna bring up. Here we go. Looks a lot better. Nice, yes. Nice curb appeal. Who would not want this house? It's a nice little starter home. New roof there. Look at that. So when you're going through the hard money lender and you were building out your scope of work, how did that process work? Did you have a dedicated contractor that you already knew and you sent them out there, or did you send like 3 different contractors out there? Do you sub out your own contracting work where you're the GC? Like, how do you approach that?
I used to do that. I used to have a guy who was the GC, the general contractor. But now, after you do this like enough times, that you can be your own GC. So I just go and hire the subcontractors that they work directly with me, and then I just get a project manager. So that's kind of my structure now. All the guys work directly with me, and my project manager is the one handling everything. And I'm on the kind of the top of the structure, like managing the payments and schedule everything.
Okay, so you send them all out there. They give you the bids that helped you come up with your scope of work, your SOW, and of course you were able to finally close. How long have you done the where you were the GC versus using a GC? Like, at what point did you make that change?
Out of necessity. First of all, it was out of necessity by being. I mean, I won't say scam so many times, but yes, but having so many difficulties with GCs that I've learned my lesson. Hey, if I'm gonna do this, I can be my own guy. And again, I don't want to work. I don't want to add another job into my job description, into my career, into my real estate. But I need to control this, right? I cannot depend on a guy that I don't know if that guy is doing the right thing or is the guy is charging a ton of money. So I would say like 2 years ago, because out of necessity, I was like 3 bad situations at the same time, and okay, I'm done. I decided to do that myself.
Yeah. And, so you're talking about out of necessity. Some of the best flippers that are able to consistently stay in the game for a long period of time, making high margins in all markets, they do control that whole process.
Yep.
And it helps with margin. But 2, you ensure from start to finish that everything's going the way you need it to go, not a GC that has other different projects that are going on that are probably not yours. So, love that. So you get hard money. And was this a hard money lender that you'd used before?
Yes, I'm working with them to expand here in Texas. There was a hard money lending company from Florida that they wanted to expand here in Texas, and I'm using them, but I'm also acting white labeling their business here in Texas. Okay. So that was basically like an arm type of company from my entire system, like ecosystem.
And then so you said gap. So I guess normally you're looking at like 70% ARV minus repairs, and depending on the type of lender, they'll fund almost or maybe even 100% of purchase price and repairs. So it seems like there was a little bit that they were not going to fund. So you needed to fill that either with your own cash, a line of credit, credit card, or in this case, used what's called a gap lender to fill that. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. How do you approach that? Like what kind of lender out there is going to, because I assume they're in second place, right?
Yes. Okay. So these type of lenders are the one, they're in a riskier position, again, because the hard money lender, the guy funding almost the entire operation, has the first position, and also they're like protected because they're below 75%. I mean, let's say the deal ARV is 230 and they had only like 135, 140 in the deal, like lent. So they're well covered. So the gap lender is the one bringing the money that you need to close, the percentage that the hard money lender is not bringing. And again, most of the time, those are individuals, like people like you and I, that they have funds and they trust you because, again, they're a risky position, they're second in position. But I work a lot of, I will say I've built my network. Again, going back to the network is so important, but I always give them like extra protection. How? Because I have a portfolio already with more than $5 million in equity. And I put them on that deal. I put them a lien on that deal, but I also, if they need it, I put another lien in one of my deals. Or if the deals is
cross-collateralizing.
Correct. I've done that 2 times when I put a lien on that property, and if they want, I put a lien on another property of my property. Sometimes they just need, for lenders to be protected, they need to be below, everyone needs to be below 75%, right? Yeah. Why? Because worst case scenario, we have to fire sell the property or wholesale it, and we do it at 75, 70%, and everyone gets paid. There's some deals I'm above 75%, so I put them into one of my other properties that I have a bunch of equity, like even my house.
Okay. What was some of the biggest? And I'm bringing up the repairs again. So, what were some of the biggest challenges with this remodel? I know you said when you were looking at it, you knew this was a home run deal, but did any? I've flipped a couple hundred houses. I know fair and well that even some of the hey, this is a pretty simple deal. Sometimes there's something lurking behind the wall that you just don't know. Did you have any of that here?
I would say the framing. I don't know if you noticed, you have like an open concept. All those houses from 1960s, 1970s, they all have a bunch of walls. The kitchens, the living room, everything is divided by walls. So we had to spend like 2 to 3K extra by just putting the beams and doing it the right way. That was not expected because that was a decision that I made after we purchased it. But again, I don't do like a super detailed like scope of work. I just have a ballpark based on my numbers. Again, you can do that only with experience. I will not recommend if you do that, doing that at the beginning, right? I know that in a ballpark, I know that for a flip at that side, I will spend like 50 to 55K, 45 the best case scenario, 65 the worst case scenario, around that. So I go luxury in some areas, and I kind of save money in other areas. Electricity was another big one that we were planning to only replace the panel, and we had to end up almost rewiring the house. We had to rewire the entire house.
Yeah.
But again, I have really good labor. That's the other thing.
Yeah. And you knew your comp, so you knew
Correct.
what you could do that could potentially force value for the sale price you were targeting. So here it is again, nice open floor plan. Love the accent wall, clean kitchen. Here's the bathroom, and then that bedroom that was where the ceiling was falling down. Took care of that. Love it. All right, so how did the flip go? So you bought it for around 70, and you said you put like
between
75?
Closing costs and everything was 675 to 80 plus closing costs plus points, lenders. Yeah, so we were all in 150.
Okay, and then you're flipping this when you're not holding as a rental. Was there any reason why you decided to flip it as opposed to holding it as a rental?
I mean, that's my personal strategy now. I only like to hold multifamilies, multiple doors.
Okay.
Have more upside. I can build more equity at the way of buying the deals, right? The cash, like deeply distressed with a bunch of equity from day one. And these type of deals, I just like to flip them.
Yeah.
People who holds a lot of single families.
I only say that because I know 150 all in the Houston market, and almost any submarket of Houston, it would have been a good rental.
Oh yeah,
it would have been a really good rental. But you decided to flip it. How'd that go?
That was great. And actually, we sold it within a week, and we got we were expecting to sell it at 230, 235, and we got an offer at 220. Actually, no, we got an offer at 230, but the appraisal came 220. Again, you know how the market is right now, and we tried to, how do you call that when you fight back the appraisal?
Yeah, never.
That's a document that you have to send.
Yeah, I'm like 0 for 10 on an appraisal rebuttal.
Yeah, I always win, but I never get what I want on the appraisals. So I ended up selling at 220 because again, for me on the flipping side, it's about speed. And we sold between purchase, rehab, and sell. We spent like 2.5 months, or I think 3 months. So it's the speed of money, and also closing and opening and closing like a success, I would say, story.
Yeah, 100%.
I decided to go.
In this market, that's great. That's phenomenal. It's at a good price point. Obviously, like starter home, lower end, below median home price, great rehab, and nice profit. So you walked away with around 70,000 in gross profit. Now that doesn't mean you put 70 grand right in your pocket, because you had some expenses. You've got some, I don't know how you're doing with your interest payments, if you do deferred interest or with hard money, you're going to pay monthly anyway.
Yeah, we pay monthly.
So what did you end up walking away with? Like,
I believe like 245 45 between.
45. Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Actually, something super like something super unique happened when we close. Looks like the seller, because the inheritance like process, the seller owe like $10,000 in taxes, but they didn't catch that. So we closed, and at the sale time, title company came with $10,000 tax.
Was this property tax or federal?
I don't know. I can ask.
Did you have to pay that, or did you go back
to pay that? Yes.
You
we
couldn't
had to
go
pay
back
that from our own
to
pocket.
the title company on the front end and for the title claim?
Yes. So basically, we had to pay that. So we made 39, but of course, because we have title insurance and that was title company, I would say responsibility, we're getting the money back from a claim.
Okay. So you decided, because you wanted to close, go ahead and pay it now, and you're going to deal with it on the other side. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because obviously your buyer can't hang around and wait for you. So were the how did this impact any future decisions? So obviously, I mean, you've got a system, you've got deals always in your pipeline. Did this particular deal help spring load into any future deals because it had pretty juicy margins, or was it just another deal, another dollar?
Yeah, it's another deal, another dollar. Again, very personal. The way I'm doing and the way I'm seeing the deals is by the relationship that the deal creates. For example, I strengthened my relationship with the hard money. I got a private money lender that I got their money and I paid them back within 3 months. So guess what? They're super happy. They just want to lend me more money, right? And it's part of the process. Actually, I was on a call today negotiating a deal, and the agent was asking, hey, do you buy these deals now to wait for the spring to sell it on the market? And I was telling him, I don't literally care. For me, it's about volume. Right now, I have 2 deals that I'm breaking even after 7 months of holding costs stuff. And for me, it's a happy deal because, again, it's the relationship with the lenders. It's the relationship with the partners. It's my guys getting paid. So it's a part of a system.
Yeah, love it.
Everyone is making money but me, but I'm more than happy because, again, another like a deal another scratch in the wall.
So what would you say to those that are on the fence about doing their first deal, like finally pulling the trigger to either do their first deal or get educated to be able to pull down your first deal?
They're like avoiding the best education. Actually, the real education happens on the doing, by taking action. And actually, the really good one happens when you lose a little bit of money, when it hurts. That's where you really learn. So you cannot avoid that. There is something called the process. So people who have mentors, sometimes they avoid the process, but then they get the process at the end of the day, or something happened, but you have to go through the process. And if you're not taking action today, you have to, because you need to get into that process. And because that process not just will teach you, but also will form you. Bro, I have so thick skin now in the game that nothing bothers me, like for real.
You have to, after a long enough time, at least when it comes to flipping and well, I mean, really even with rentals too. Rentals are a little bit more forgiving over a long term, but you have to. Well, love it.
Sorry about interrupting you, but I see the flipping game as a long term too. So seeing everything as a long term game, it's like seeing the business like the rental bit versus the flipping. I see the flipping as a long term game too, right? The systems, the deals, the relationships.
Yeah, because you're looking global, you're looking macro, and that's smart. So every single business decision that you need to be making should be long term. Unless you have cash flow issues, then make the short term decisions, get that taken care of, then go back long term. And when you do that, you'll be all right. So love it. Thanks for coming on the show. And if you'd like to take a look at your real estate business, where you're at, and see what the constraint is that's keeping you from growing, scan the QR code or go to the website wealthpassage.com, schedule a call. we'll look at your business, and whether you're just getting started or even before that, whether you're thinking about getting started, we'll kind of look at the situation, look at what your goals are, and see what that next step would be to help you get to your goals faster and ultimately with less scrapes on your knee. Some of the scrapes that Liuver knows, I know, because we've done it, and we're happy to share expertise to help you avoid some of those pitfalls. So thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. Take care.
Okay. Have a good night.